My name is Roy Snarr. I started using the Skolnikoff Method about 6 months ago. Living in Central Texas, I suffered from massive chronic allergies. We're the allergy capital of the world, and I had nothing but problems, congestion every day. I was taking Claritin D, Zyrtec, Allegra, everything you can imagine under the sun to try to curb this. I even had surgery completed on my sinus cavities, and still nothing was helping me. So after I met Dr. Ilya and tried out the Skolnikoff method, my allergy symptoms slowly started to relieve themselves. And now it's, like I mentioned, been about 6 months, and my allergies are almost completely gone. Every now and then they still come up, but that's inevitable where I'm at. But I'm no longer stuck on decongestants and taking allergy medications every single day. I can breathe good. I used to have chronic wheezing. They were giving me prednisone and other inhalers to try to curb that. I didn't want to be on that medicine, but it was the only thing that was helping until I went through the process. One of the biggest things I learned, besides some dietary changes here, was the toxicity that we live in. I really had no idea how toxic the environment was, all the way down from deodorant, like you mentioned, to toothpaste, to certain flosses. It's actually pretty scary, but by making small changes and going more the natural route that you recommended, it's made a big difference, and I feel a lot better. And so I'm really glad about that. And speaking of my daughter, after I had those great results and the allergies have been virtually gone, my daughter started having some issues with breathing, kind of like a congestion, wheezing. She was still acting normal. Everything was fine, but it was just not, it was different, right? And that she shouldn't have had those issues. And we went to, different doctors. The same thing that most traditional doctors do. They said, hey, try her out on a few different types of inhalers. And I would bring up to them, look, that's the Band-Aid, but what's the root cause of the problem? We want to fix what's going on. We don't just want to mask it. They had no options. They had no solutions. They just said, hey, try this out, try this out, try this inhaler, try that inhaler. Nothing worked whatsoever. And so we went through the Skolnikoff method with her. After about 2 weeks of using the Skolnikoff method, my daughter started showing improvements, which was amazing to us because we weren't taking the inhalers and all these other crazy things that doctors were throwing at us. We said, look, there's got to be a reason why she's having these issues, right? And we found some things that were occurring to her, and we changed those. And then we went through the Skolnikoff method. And then shortly after that, about 2 weeks, her symptoms started to dramatically improve. And by the third week, she had no longer had a cough. She wasn't waking up coughing. During the day, she wasn't coughing. She wasn't wheezing whatsoever. And she was 100% back to normal in about the fourth week, which blew our minds. Even the doctors were like, wow, so what'd you guys do differently? I didn't even want to get into the whole story with the traditional doctors, but long story short on this, it worked for me and it also worked for her. And she was 6 months old when we started the process. It was 2 sessions together. And, I thought it was going to take a lot more. I mean, it took a little bit more for me, but then again, I'm an adult and she was only 6 months old at that time when we were doing the treatment process. And just with 2 simple treatments and some advice that you provided to us, some nutrients, and 100% turnaround, it was amazing. We're very thankful for that, even to today. So, like you said, 15 minutes a day out in the sun. We just walked her around, in the backyard when we had sun, when it wasn't raining. And it made a huge difference. It's way better, like you mentioned, than taking a ton of vitamin D supplements when you can get that naturally, organically, and for free. Just walk outside. So it was really good. One of the best parts about going through the Skolnikoff method, especially with myself and my daughter, is that we live in Austin, Texas, and he's over there in the Bay Area in California. What was nice, we did everything via video conference. We did a FaceTime, we did a Zoom call, and lots of telephone calls, and it worked. We didn't actually have to be inconvenienced and go down to the doctor's office or try to book a flight and come out there. We were able to get access to Dr. Ilya just by the phone, which is amazing because most world-renowned practitioners, they're not going to do that. They're going to make you come into the office, wait in line, schedule months out. We were very fortunate to have this type of accessibility with the technology and have the same results. If we had to come out to California, it would have been worth it still. We would have done it, but it would have been really inconvenient on our part. And so with technology and your flexibility on time, and we're in a different time zone, but yet you made yourself available to us that was conducive to our schedule. which is very nice. And, you know, we run a family-owned practice. It's growing like crazy. So it's very difficult for us to time block certain things, but this was definitely a priority. And you helped us do that in between our hectic schedules and all of our meetings and all the other kids we have to deal with. So that was very, very nice. 100%, I've already handed out your information to not only the clients I work with, but family members, close friends, because the information that you provide, they're not going to get at their traditional doctor, right? They're not going to get that at their primary care physician. You bring a whole different perspective to actually fix the root cause, which I really enjoy, because oftentimes they say, here's a medication, here's another medication, try that, see if it works. But that's just, again, masking the problem. What is actually causing it, right? And you get down to what actually causes it. And with my situation, even my daughter's, just the firsthand, some of the root causes we were totally oblivious to. We didn't even think about it. You were able to discover that, which was amazing. And that's why you have your Skolnikoff Method, where you can do all this. And it's awesome. We're very fortunate to have found you. Even to this day, I'm still gluten-free, and I never, ever thought I'd be gluten-free. I mean, we used to joke around. We had friends that were gluten-free, and I'd make fun of them. I can't believe you're gluten-free. Come on, it's just bread, just a beer, whatever it may be. And as soon as I switched over, I mean, it was hard at first because I was so, you know, used to and accustomed to my traditional diet. But now it's easier than ever. I avoid all wheats as possible, and I feel a lot better. I mean, you know, I'm not, never been overweight, but I would always feel like bloated and tired. I mean, if I ate a big cheeseburger with bread and breaded, you know, fried food, man, I need a nap. I'd be in a coma. It took an EpiPen just to get me going again after lunch. But now that I've cut out the wheat and a lot of the other junk food, I mean, I just feel incredibly better. Wish I would have done it years ago, but hey, you know, I'm glad I'm on it now. I'm 6'1", and I was about 200 pounds, and now I'm down to about 180. So about 20 pounds. But on that scale, on my BMI, that's quite a bit. So I'm down to a 32 waist, and I was up to like a 34. So I dropped 2 waist sizes and 20 pounds in the matter of that month time frame. So it was good. I literally did not change any physical activity. I just simply switched my diet. And if I was a little bit more disciplined and did go to the gym and exercise more, I'd probably lose even more weight. But, you know, I'm pretty happy at 6'1", 180. Increased my intake of protein, and I started eating more frequently throughout the day to fuel my body correctly, instead of waiting half the day and then eating like a big sandwich or something along those lines. Actually, I was eating more. Well, thank you again. I appreciate the opportunity to share my story, and I hope it influences people to at least reach out, give you a call, get a consultation. I mean, have an open mind. It doesn't hurt, because if you just keep doing the same thing you're doing, you're going to get the same results. So try something different if you want to have a lifestyle change.